And I had the devil's own time getting the plot to work. And I was just, it was very difficult. And my brain couldn't seem to quite, because I knew it was going to be very complex, but getting how to make it work. And I went in to get a crown, and the dentist started to pull it and realized that the tooth was actually cracked down to the roots, and sent me to the oral surgeon on my motorcycle with a mouthful of bloody cotton. He actually, he went out, and I didn't know what was happening. He came back. I've made an appointment with you for the oral surgeon because he'll do a better job of this than I will, and you're to go right over there now, and here's what the address is. So I hopped on my bike, and I went to the oral surgeon, and he got the tooth out, and with more cotton packing the now crater in my jaw. I came home, and immediately the plot fell into place. I had been, for some months, been under very low-level pain that I wasn't actually consciously aware of from this cracked tooth. And I could write. What I couldn't do was this extremely complicated plot. And I came home and I did the plot, and I worked the plot threads together, and that had another phone call from Beth Fleischer. First time she says, well, we've scheduled a book. And it was for something less, it was 10 months ahead. I said, I haven't written it. Yeah, you will. Mark's got back pain. Stress goes to my back also. And as I was working on the rough draft, my back was hurting more and more. I would walk the dogs and I would be limping and, sort of hunched over. And when it went away, which it did as soon as I finished the rough draft, the pain was gone, but I still had numbness in my left leg because of the pressure on the spine. That's not a lot of fun. We do it to ourselves. Beth didn't have any doubt that I could do the book. I did. And, but there was another phone call from her. She said, we're going to cover conference on the book. Can you tell me what it's about? And I gave her a capsule thing, based on the Norse myths, sort of a saga-like situation, people in powered armor fighting. She called back in a couple of days. Well, we had our cover conference. We're going to put a tank on the cover. There is a tank in the book, isn't there? I said, there will be. And that's the image of the tank in sitting in a field, actually, in Ruby, one of the alternate universes of Northward. That's why there's a tank there. There might not otherwise have been.
Okay.
That was how Northworld came about.
Oh.
That taught me, by the way, how to do very complex plots. And I am now in the Isles series doing, if anything, more complex things without really thinking about it, except it takes time to put it together. But I don't worry anymore. Northworld was, it almost killed, well, no, it didn't almost kill me, but it did almost cripple me. But it taught me a hell of a lot. And those are good books.
Back to Jim Bain, what are your thoughts on what he did for science fiction and military science fiction?
Oh, science fiction. He focused on story. It was always about story with Jim. It was never about fine writing. He was aware of fine writing. He didn't avoid it, but it had to be a story first. The military SF is a little different. He didn't particularly like it. That is, he liked it okay, but he did not have a particular desire to publish it. What he saw was a gap in what was being published because editors in general, and New York editors in particular, and this was, if anything, more true in the science fiction field, tended to be very PC. And let me tell you, when I came back in 1971, there were a lot of, nowadays Jane Fonda catches all the flack for all of them, but that's only because she was photographed. There were a lot of people who stood in exactly the same place as Jane Fonda. In 1976, Heinlein, in his guest of honor speech at Worldcon, said that there had always been wars in human history, and he saw no reason to believe that would not continue to be true. And he was booed for saying something about as controversial as gravity, so far as, you know, anybody can imagine. But it wasn't PC to say that, and the SF community was very much, at least the vocal parts. And Jim hated PC. He didn't love military SF, but he hated PC. And the fact he could make a good sum of money by publishing military SF was the icing on the cake. I think he would have done it to a degree just to piss off the Charlie Browns of the world. Editor of Locus, for those who don't know.